This video is going to be a review on my wedding. I used 4 vendors, which I'm going to link below if you guys want to check them out, or if you guys ever need to reference anyone. I mean, I'm going to be completely honest, and I'm going to try to keep it as professional as possible without really going on a full-on rant. But if you guys have been following my videos, you already know there's a couple problems that I had. So 4 vendors I used as my venue was Lakewood Country Club, and then I got a package deal from them, which I'm starting to regret that I got a package deal, but it seemed convenient at the time and it was pretty affordable. I got my videography, my DJ service, and my photography from the same vendor called DJ Brothers, and they're located in Fountain Valley, which is not that far from me. But I got them through the package deal through Lakewood Country Club, and then through their bridal shows, because they had a few this past year, the last year where I booked people. I found Romero Orchids, which was my florist. My officiant was booked from a website called Great Officiants, and his name was Mauricio. He was a Filipino officiant who actually learned Spanish as well to be able to translate my ceremony, which is awesome. And then did I use anybody else? Oh, and Torrance Bakery for my cake. So let's start with Lakewood Country Club. They were, I want to say, and I'm going to score people 1 out of 5, 5 being the best, 1 being pretty crappy. And I'm going to give Lakewood Country Club a 4 because there was some communication issues. I really felt like Caitlin, the girl that was supposed to be handling my event, like wasn't giving me the information soon enough or within enough advance notice, because I'm the one who had to ask the questions of like, when is my final details appointment? And then in that final details appointment, we didn't go over every detail. I ended up finding out a week before my wedding about a few issues that I was going to have with some of the vendors. So I think it's something that she could have caught on her end, especially since it was vendors that she recommended to me and came with my package. I felt like they should have been in communication a lot sooner than a week before my wedding. But anyways, that aside, the day of my wedding, Caitlin was very attentive. She knew that I was pregnant, so the whole time my hair was getting done and my makeup was getting done, which was very early, she offered me like snacks, water, to make sure that I stayed comfortable, because she knows I had to eat every 2 hours. She even brought me soup twice. So yeah, she made sure that I wasn't going to pass out when I was going to go down the stairs, and I appreciated that. And then she made sure everything stayed on track. The only thing I didn't like is that, and of course, I don't know how they pay them, if they're overtime, hourly, or whatever. She didn't stay for the whole wedding. She was there in the beginning at 10:30 a.m. and then I think she left at around 7 or 7:30. I'm not sure. Like around 6:30 to 7, something like that. I had a schedule and I just know that she left right before the toast. And that's when I had a couple issues when she was gone. So, yeah, I think in the future they should plan it out where there's somebody there that's going to be a coordinator for the entire wedding and not just for the beginning of it, just in case some stuff happens. That's my opinion. What do I know? So Lakewood Country Club, price was reasonable, communication was a little bit off, and considering that they had been doing this for a long time, I think the service should have been a lot better. Like, the customer service should have been a lot better. But I mean, the prices and the day of, you know, they made it pretty easy for me. So, and their servers, I love their servers. They were very attentive, they're very polite and accommodating. So 4 stars for them. Moving on to DJ Brothers. Now, I might take a little longer with them because I have a lot of opinions on them. Don is a very nice man and he can turn on the charm very, very well, but we met once, only once, and that is because I arranged it and I drove to his office, which is fine. It was in Fountain Valley. It wasn't that far from me, but I remember when I was trying to set up this appointment, I met him once at a bridal show and I told him that I had gotten my package through Lakewood Country Club and that I would be contacting him. So I went on his website and requested an appointment and entered one of their giveaways on their site. It's supposedly a random drawing, and I entered my information, and then not even 10 minutes later, Don's on the phone calling me, oh, congratulations, you won this lighting, $300 value lighting package, I guess uplighting for my wedding if I book any service. And I told him, well, I already have services except for the videography. I have a package with Lakewood Country Club and I'm still iffy if I want to do videography. But I just wanted to meet and go over the details of what my package includes and, you know, be more informed of what's going to happen on the day of. And then after that, his tone changed from wanting to sell me to, oh, we already have you, so when did you want to meet? So that $300 uplighting that I had won went out the window and I never heard of it ever again. And I was going to bring it up, but I didn't feel like arguing with him, like, later on. Anyways, so that happened, that left, that was the first thing that I didn't like. The second thing was, when I did meet, everything seemed great. He gave me a discounted price for adding videography since I already had the other 2 services, and I was a little iffy of adding 3 services for one company because I'm like, I don't want you to send me one guy to do everything. And he promised that it was going to be one person for each. And I would have appreciated being at least introduced via email or whatever, letting me know such and such is going to be your DJ, such and such is going to be your videographer, and such is going to be your photographer. But I didn't get that, even though I asked, do you know who's going to be my guys? And he never really gave me an answer for that. But anyways, I asked 2 weeks before my wedding. He went over the worksheets that I had to fill out that were like schedules for the events, like where you have to pick music, like what am I going to walk down the aisle to, what are my bridal parties going to walk down the aisle to, etc., etc. And then I had to do a playlist. So it's a lot of things to do, which is fine. So we went over that. He told me the book that it comes with and offered me upgrades for the wedding book, and I just stuck with whatever came with the package. And then I said I would get back to him with the videography. That day, this was back in February, March of this year. Excuse me. That day, he told me that he would recommend, and he thinks that my bridal party should be ready by 2:30 p.m. for pictures, to get that out of the way as much as possible, so that everybody can go and enjoy a cocktail hour while Ron and I are out on the golf course taking photos. I said okay. So I planned all my appointments for hair and makeup and my bridal party and all around that time frame. From that day, I posted it on my Facebook. I let everybody in my bridal party know that they had to be there ready to go at 2:30. We didn't have any more communication. That was our face-to-face communication. We didn't have any more email communication or face-to-face communication until later on in the year. I was worried that he might not get some songs, or that if he needed me to provide them for him, I can get it to him with flash drive and stuff. So I was in communication with him a couple of times to ask about song availability and to decide on the video services. I decided on going with them with the video services because I'm like, fuck it, it's the 3 services already, might as well. On my part, I was being pretty lazy because I honestly didn't want videography, but I didn't want to regret not having something on video, so Ron and I decided, okay, let's go with them. So we chose them for that, and the price was cheaper than anybody else that I had spoken to because he said he was giving me a discount because I already had the other 2 services. So I went with him with that. He sent me a contract via email, and I didn't like some of the statements in the contract. It just stated that I had to buy them dinner basically, and that a tip was customary, and it just had like these little clauses in there that I didn't like if we went into litigation, like court, that I would be responsible for paying their court fees plus mine, and all kinds of stuff that I was just not in total agreement with. But I just was like, what could go wrong, you know? And nothing serious went wrong where I felt like I needed to sue or anything like that. No, it's just the lack of customer service. I wasn't at the level that I expected it to be, especially since they're claiming on their website that they've been voted best videography and photography and DJ service in LA County by The Knot, which I guess maybe they have different DJs that I didn't get that do better work. I'm not sure. But anyways, I'm getting ahead of myself. So that happened. I signed the contract a couple weeks before the wedding. I gave a deposit via credit card with no service fee. And when I was ready to pay off my balance, he sends me an email. Like, even though we spoke over the phone, he sends me an email and there's like $50 extra fee just to process a credit card. I'm like, are you serious? And he's like, oh, well, yeah, because we pass on that cost to the consumer. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, if you guys do this a lot, you guys have a lot of clientele and work, why would you do that, you know? So I was like, well, how do I avoid this fee? Oh, you can pay cash or check. So I mailed him a check because I didn't want to pay another $50 on top of. He says it was in the contract that I signed that there would be a fee to process credit cards, but I didn't see it in the contract. And I didn't, like I said, I didn't feel like arguing about it, so I'm like, fuck it, here's a check, balance paid off, I don't care. So during this whole time, he did not tell me about, even though I asked who was my DJ and who was, you know, the names of the people and their contact information of who's going to be my DJ, who's going to be my photographer, who's going to be my videographer, so that I can contact them if I need to. He didn't give me any of that information. I asked about time frame a week before because nobody had contacted me to let me know anything. So I just wanted to confirm that they were going to be there at 2:30 like we agreed on for the photography. And then I wanted to know when videography would start and when the DJ service and all that. So I ended up finding out that he had scheduled my photographer to come at 3:30 and that the DJ service started at 4 o'clock and ended at 10, even though my venue was booked till 12. That upset me because, like I said in my last video, like, why does it take me to ask them a week before my wedding, why don't they communicate with each other and let me know, like, hey, you're gonna have to buy more DJ service or whatever. And then the photography, like, I had my people come at 2:30. Everything was scheduled to start at 2:30, and he completely forgot. He completely forgot that that's what we discussed and agreed on, and he made it seem like I was just bringing this up out of the blue, which really upset me because I'm like, dude, I didn't want to wake up at the crack of fucking dawn to get ready. My wedding was until 4:30, but you wanted me to be ready by 2:30, which means I had to get up like at 9 or 10. So, you know, not my fault, but he didn't apologize once. And when I expressed my concern about the lack of communication, what he did say was, in the first sentence of the email, instead of an apology, he sent me, well, you're complaining about the lack of communication, but yet I've answered every one of your 18 emails and made any changes that you requested. And I'm like thinking in my head, like, I didn't request any changes. I just was asking about song selection. I just wanted to make sure that you had access to the music. If you didn't, I can get it for you on a flash drive. That's all I was doing, and signing a contract to get more services with you. What changes did I request? He made it sound like I was being very demanding and that I was changing things left and right. And I just did not appreciate that. And after that, I was just like, I called, you know, the venue that I got them from, that recommended them to me, and I forwarded the email to her, and I told her, do you think this is the level of service that I should be getting? And she was like, oh my god, I'm sorry. She apologized for him, but I just told her that I didn't need this right now. I was freaking pregnant a week before my wedding, and I didn't need any of this crap. So she solved the issue for me. She offered me a decent price for extended DJ service, so I added another hour. Through her, not through him, through her. And then I submitted all my worksheets to him. I submitted all of my playlist, which was very, very small, because I didn't have time to go through a whole damn playlist. The only music that I picked is what I wanted to be played during the ceremony and during the cocktail hour / the beginning of dinner. It was like romantic, like, music. So that's what I submitted to him, and I sent him an email letting him know, like, hey, I didn't have a lot of time to play to add a lot of playlists to the general one for the dancing. So can you just stick to 4 genres, which is Spanish rock, cumbia, hip hop, and like top 40. I'm like, you've been doing this a long time, so I'm pretty sure you know how to get people to out on the dance floor. I did mention that because people had requested certain songs to be played. I'm like, if we can play the songs that were requested, that'd be fine. But other than that, stick to the genre. In my mind, a DJ goes through the music and makes it mesh. That's what a DJ does. He plays music continuously without pause. He mixes music in together, and he takes genres and plays blocks of genres to get people to dance. That's what a DJ does, right? Okay, so come the day of, after all these whatever small issues that came up, the day of, Don is great. He's my photographer. Even though he didn't inform me he was going to be my photographer, he showed up with a camera and he was taking my pictures and stuff. So he was my photographer. This other guy was my videographer, which I wasn't formally introduced to him, and he seemed a little off, but whatever. Let's see how the video turns out, because I still haven't got it. He was my videographer, and then the DJ I didn't see until way later on. Everything was great. All the music that I wanted was being played during the ceremony, and I loved the ceremony. Like, every single song that I wanted to be played on cue was done. So I'm like, awesome, this is going to be a great day. The videographer interviewed me, and I cried like a baby trying to send Ron a few love words. So the photography was going on schedule, and so that was great. But the problem came when dinner was being served, and I had a schedule to start, you know, the toast and all the other events after that, including my first dance and all that. Yeah, it was supposed to start at 6:45 or somewhere around there. I don't remember exactly. But that's when Caitlin told me she was leaving, that she was serving already the champagne for the toast to start off things. And I'm like, great. So she's like, so as soon as they finish the toast, serving all the champagne, we'll start with the toast and all that. I'm like, cool, great. And then lo and behold, like, she walks off and leaves. And then I can't find Dawn, I can't find the videographer or the DJ anywhere. And it's already about 7:10, 7:15. I'm like, the toast was supposed to be at 7. Where is everyone? The champagne has already been poured, and I wanted to stay on schedule because the videographer and the photographer were gonna leave like at 8 or 8:30. So where are my people? I had to get Ron to go find them because they had, I don't know, they took it upon themselves to feel like it was dinner time for them, even though I had a schedule to stick to. So Ron had to go find them and let them know, hey, the toast was supposed to be like 10 minutes ago. And then Dawn's excuse for that was that the champagne hadn't been poured. I'm like, yeah, the champagne was poured and started at like 6:45. They've been ready. So he's like, oh, well, don't worry, we'll get you back on track. And like, no apology for disappearing or anything like that. He's just like, oh, we'll get back on track. It's okay, we'll get back on track. So I saw them rushing everything, and like the DJ came back on and like started saying, oh, the toast and all that stuff, right? So that happened. And then after that, that kind of just left a bad taste in my mouth. So that really just annoyed me. But anyways, that happened, and then Dawn basically was finished with the photography. We got all the shots that we needed, including the last shot, which was the cake cutting. And so he left, and he's like, okay, the videographer is gonna find you when it's time for the interviews, for the final interviews for your guests and for you and Ron or whatever. So I was like, all right, fine. Everything had already passed, the tossing of the garter and all that stuff, right? That had already done, the money dance, everything was pretty much done. It was just dancing now. So the music was playing, and then I started getting complaints from my guests that the music was too inconsistent. Like, it wasn't being meshed, like mixed. It was like the song would play, it would end, there would be a couple seconds of no music, and then the next song would play. So to me, that's not being a DJ. That's just playing a playlist. And then that the music was inconsistent in genre. Like he would play an English song, and then he would play a Spanish song. And Grant, the night did start off, like the dancing part did start off with a nice block of hip-hop. It was like 4 or 5 different hip-hop songs that were great, that my guests had requested. And it sounded great, and it got everybody on the dance floor, but then he switched it up. And then after that, when Dawn was gone and Caitlin was gone, the DJ was just like playing songs that he said that I said had to be in that order, which I never said that. My sister-in-law went up there and told him, okay, well, can you at least stick to one genre for more than one song so that people can consistently dance? And he's like, well, she wanted, is that okay with Olivia? Because she wanted these songs to be played. And I'm like, come on. You see people leaving the dance floor. You're not playing the songs consistently to keep them dancing. Like, this is your job. Like, so I went up there and I told him myself, can you stick to one genre? And he played some Spanish rock music that I just did not recognize. It wasn't the popular one. It's like something that you would randomly hear on Pandora, I think. So I went up there again. I was like, you know what? I think this was around almost 10 o'clock. After hearing a couple songs that I was just like, okay, he's still just letting a song play, letting it pause, and then playing another song, and then he was still switching it up, different genres, not really staying to one block of music. So I was like, alright, I'm kind of done with this, and I had paid for an extra hour. At 10 o'clock, I went up there and I told him to stop playing. I told him that at 8:30, at 10 o'clock, I told him at 8:30, I wanted him to announce the last song, which would be Michael Jackson's You Rock My World. I love Michael Jackson. And then I told him, until then, from 10 o'clock to 10:30, when you announce the last song, can you just play just Michael Jackson music? So as I'm walking off the stage, this is at 10 o'clock, as I'm walking off the stage, he starts playing a Bruno Mars song. Fine, whatever. After that song, which is maybe 3 minutes long, maybe 4, he announces the last song. Not at 10:30 like I said, but he announces the last song is going to be And he starts playing Michael Jackson. And that's it. I'm like, oh, okay. So that happened. And you have to think about it. I mean, if I paid an hour, I paid until 11 for him to play music. He was supposed to stop at 10 initially, and I paid till 11, an extra $150. It has to be bad if somebody tells you, even though they paid, but they're like, no, never mind, just stop playing. So that happened, and I'm gonna give DJ service like a 2, maybe a 3, at best a 3. But I wasn't really happy. I was expecting way better service. And even afterwards, when we were dealing with this after the wedding, I have yet to get an apology. I got excuses, but not like a really heartfelt apology for some of the issues that came up, because I feel like Don really doesn't feel like he's at fault for anything. I think he thinks his team is great, and that maybe it was my miscommunication. I don't know, but he really didn't offer me anything like tangible as an apology. He offered me to give me extra pictures on my photo book, and he's like, I'm gonna go ahead and take care of you in that way. I'm like, you could have given me the discount for the service that I didn't receive, which was the extra hour of DJ service, or if you can even call that DJ service. But I was like, whatever, I'm not gonna argue. I'm pregnant and I just want to relax and enjoy my marriage. So I left it at that. So we're gonna give DJ service a 2.5.